Well, we're in the shed now. I've had a bit of a look through my stuff and I'm just pulling up a chair here. I've managed to find a few interesting things. I used to work in a power tool shop, and whenever somebody brought in a power tool that was busted, I'd keep the motor. So I reckon this is probably a Hitachi 18 volter. I might just run it on 12 or 11.1 LiPo, and I found this M-Tronics Viper Marine 40. That ought to be good enough for that. And I think, yes, here it is. I've even got the instructions. So that'll be good for the motor, and I'm pretty sure this will be good enough. I've got a few others. So that's the motor and steering taken care of. And now what I've discovered is that angle, and I've also discovered he's got dropsy. The angle here is 3.5 degrees. Now in order to get this motor hooked up to that shaft, it's got to be back here somewhere. In fact, I'm going to put it right up there, get a bit of forward weight on because there'll be more stuff down the stern here. So that means I've got to make up a long drive shaft, and I'm going to do that with some of this carbon fibre rod and some brass, not that brass, this bit of brass, which I'll machine up and fit this bearing to. So I'll machine that to go in there. This will go in there through this bearing, and behind me on the laser cutter I'm making the motor mount now. The motor mount will be a big piece of flat that comes in here right the way up to there. It'll be glued on a brace under there and across here and sits in there, and then the other plate will sit on the top of that with these little buggers in it, and they will screw the top plate. So I've one for fixing things. That means if it's broke, I don't want to have to wreck everything to get it apart. So I'm going to make this whole assembly here so that I can just unbolt it, take it out and change it. With that in mind, I know that I'm going to leave the shaft in because I've got to ghoulie that in, or the tube, but I am going to make it so I can get the prop out. Various reasons for that. I've got to make that happen so that I can get the whole thing assembled. And the only way I can get the rudder in and out, and I want to be able to get the rudder in and out, is I have to be able to push that prop forward. So when I put that up there and that in there, then I can pull the prop back so that it's in its right place, somewhere there, and this will turn without any issues. And then the brass tube drops down through that hole there, and you can see that it comes down over that. So then I'll just pin that with a pin that I can get in and out. So that means that I can disassemble the rudder. Now that's a great thing. So then the next thing is that I'll shorten all of this, and then this thing will just drop in there. I'll pin that, and then I've got rudder control. So I'm feeling pretty happy about nearly everything that I've done so far today. Here's the laser cutter. All these little circles are to go over those nut things to hold them in the right place, and there's the CAD drawing there for all the parts. So that the nut things go in these, that plate goes on that plate there, which goes on the front, and then all these pieces assemble on there to take the motor. If it works, it'll be great. If it doesn't, I'll make it another one. Anyway, so that's basically where I am today. I have got that aluminium on and bogged. I've just got to sand it all up. So there you go, there's today's effort.